Hey, brothers and sisters. I wasn't planning on doing a video. I've taken a couple of days off. Oh, actually, today's Thursday, the 31st. And I've taken a few days off. I know I did a video, but I've taken a few days off away from the hospital. And I'm about to go down to the hospital, and I really would appreciate your prayers because, I shared my number, I shared my YouTube, all of that with different people at the hospital, and nobody's called. It's not surprising, is it? Right? We're trying to tell them urgently what's about to happen, and they don't have ears to hear. Or if they receive it, it doesn't last. It doesn't last. But the reason why I wanted to come on was, yes, I would appreciate your prayers for my evangelism in the hospital, and also with my dad. It's kind of funny that I did a video asking for prayer for the fathers' hearts to be turned to the children, when I was referring to a friend of mine a friend of mine in Bible study whose brother-in-law has left the family for his adultery. So, which was also with another family. So there are two families being destroyed in that. And that's definitely not the situation. My dad has been a very, very faithful man. And he's a very, very, very moral man. But he just doesn't want to talk about the things about God. And so I'm praying that, yes, he's got physical health issues, but the real problem is he's got spiritual health issues. There was a book that I gave to an aunt one time, not that she'd even been a missionary to Switzerland, and she was in the hospital, and I gave her a book called Diagnosing Your Spiritual Health. It was a great book. Did I ever hear anything from her? Never. When my husband left, never. In fact, it was amazing that I even found out that she was in the hospital, because they don't, when I got kicked out of the family, I got kicked out of the family, okay? So that aunt, I don't know anything about her. I don't know anything about my in-laws. I know nothing. Nothing. Anyway, and it even looks like possibly my computer is not working, but I'm just going to keep on going and see what else. But I wanted to tell you, this is the there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I mean, today's the 31st. There's a lot of stuff about today, and 21,000. Oh gosh, I think it's today. I'm 21,640 days old. I know this is crazy, but if you take out the 21,000, Obama is also 21,000 today, I think today. If you take that out, you end up with 640, which is, oh my goodness, captives, I think. Sorry, really, it's like God's just been showing me all these things. I looked up how old my dad is going to be, and on February 6th, he's going to be 30,000 days old. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so today, and it's not all about me, y'all, it's not. But today, it's 21,640 days that I am. That's how old I am. So I had looked up, where is it? And then this is crazy to me. And I really think my computer's not working right. But anyway, this is crazy to me. So I look up 640. And 640 means perplexity. And it's only in one verse, which is, in the Greek, it's a verse that a lot of people know. Things just aren't really working for me here. But it means perplexity, and it's in Luke 21:25. If y'all are believers, you know what that verse is. And so why, it's just sort of funny that I look at that. Okay, then today, on February 2nd, which is a 2-2. 2-2 is my favorite God number, but it was also my son's baseball number and jersey number. So 642 days. 642 means having been taken away. And it's only one occurrence. I'm not saying the rapture's happening today. I'm not saying the rapture's happening February 2nd. It's just sort of, it's just, he just keeps me excited. He keeps me excited. By the way, the flowers are still looking great. I don't know. I'm just like, thank you, God. The flowers are still looking great. Let me see if there was something else I was supposed to say. I have a bunch of other numbers, but yeah, and then, okay, and then I figured out that my dad on Valentine's Day will be 30,008 days, 8 new beginnings. I don't know what's happening. I know that I did watch a video. It's funny because I was subscribed to her, but my bell was not rung. But I got a notification. Oh gosh, what is her name? I know a lot of 34,000 people have watched. Not 34, 3,400 people. She's the one that wrote the book. Kimberly is her name, but I can't think what her channel name. Moses and Elijah, maybe. But she had the thing about the Tu B'Shavat, which in one of my videos had talked about lighting fires for Christ, had figured out that February 14th was possibly the actual birthday of Israel, because that was a Tu B'Shavat, and it was the day that the Knesset was formed and convened for the first time, which was February 14th, 1949. Okay. So, let's see. What else am I supposed to share? I watched clearlywritten.net, a video about, he's got two. I've only had a chance to watch one of them. He's got a video about the prophetic signs with the Super Bowl. And I watched it after I had already done my video about the Super Bowl, which hasn't had that many views. So, I'm just going to talk about... I really want to talk about the abortion thing. I think it's really kind of interesting that when I pulled up this book, I mean, I've had this book in my house, and I pulled up and showed you that, right? But I didn't realize that. And the funny thing is, if you look at it from an evangelism method, no one's innocent, right? We're all guilty. We're all guilty. Saving one innocent life. And I'm not talking about the baby here, y'all. I'm talking about us. Saving one innocent life, one woman at a time, answering the call. Well, we are all guilty. We're all born guilty. I'm not talking about babies. I'm talking about us. We are all born in sin. Psalm 51, I think, David says, I was conceived in sin. I was born in sin. We were all born sinful, but when we are born again, we are washed clean and made new with a new creation. So, just a quick thing. Yesterday, I did watch the news. I got up really early yesterday morning and spent a lot of time with the Lord, but I turned on Fox News, Fox and Friends, which I go to bed late and I wake up late. And I'm watching this, and I was shocked about this thing about the Virginia Facebook post about this, not abortion, infanticide. And the crazy thing, it's like, where have people lost their minds? They've lost their minds because they're saying it would be all right to abort the baby up until the moment it's born. Then they're also saying that after the baby is born, then they're going to make it comfortable and sit around and decide whether they're going to take the baby out. Well, then last night, a Planned Parenthood person was on, and she was saying, "Oh, it would be because of the mother." Get this, y'all. It would be because of the life, only in extenuating circumstances, for the life of the mother. Well, if the baby's already been born, obviously the mother's life is not in jeopardy. Hello. If the baby is born, the mother's life is not in jeopardy. If the baby is about to be born, if she's dilated, which I found out I misspelled, it's not D-I-A, it's dilated. Dilated. If she's dilating, the mother's life is not in danger. This is ridiculous. This is evil. One night, and I've been seeing it lately, 222. One night, God woke me up at 2:22, and he said, things God hates. He hates this. He hates this. It's an abomination. We've had at least 60 million babies aborted, and now you're going to add this on. I think that the numbers were 15,000 late-term abortions each year in America. That's 15,000. It's nuts. And then the thing too is, if the baby is not viable, well, I can tell y'all the technology is they can tell if the baby's viable early on. There should be no late-term abortions. There should be no late-term abortions. The technology can tell. Now, does every woman have access to sonograms and healthcare? No, that's true. But if the baby is about to be born, obviously, I don't even want to think about it. It's just really awful. But the good news is, answering the call, I've also been seeing the number 111, which means fear of the Lord, but it also means Acts 1:11, that why are you looking for him? Jesus is going to return the same way he came, in the clouds. So I'm excited about that. And, you know, we just have to trust in the Lord. I mean, it was funny because my dad had said, let's watch this video about hell. And I was like, oh, okay. And we ended up watching this video about the airplane. I talked about it in a couple of videos ago. So I decided to order, I love David Pawson. David Pawson has a book about the false doctrine of once saved, always saved. I think it's on my playlist of the false doctrine of once saved, always saved. He's also got a book about remarriage is adultery unless, ? Y'all know the answer, unless you're dead. And then he has this book, which I just ordered. I don't know if I'm going to have the guts to read, just go down and sit in my dad's room and read this book, but it's The Road to Hell, Everlasting Torment or Annihilation. And he says, hell is the most offensive and least acceptable of all Christian doctrines. We try to ignore it, but it won't go away. Better to face the truth, even if it hurts. Challenging the modern alternatives to liberal universalism and evangelical annihilationism, where it's like after you're dead, you don't continue on in eternal torment. David Pawson presents the traditional concept of endless torment as soundly biblical, illustrating his argument with in-depth scripture studies on controversial passages. Heaven is also a reality, he admits, but it is hell which is being overlooked. And, you know, in evangelism, you face it all the time because people think that Jesus is love, which he is. He loved us so much, he gave his life on the cross for us, purchasing us with his blood. But he doesn't, he's a good judge too, right? I looked up the scriptures. I put them in comments in different places, but you know, basically, he is the judge, and he's a good judge. And why did he come to earth? He spent 3 years warning people about hell. He spent 3 years warning people about hell because he loved them and he doesn't want them to go there. And then, I mean, I really have so much I have so much I could do. This was another book I ordered. It's like I came home from the hospital and I was like, okay, I got to get this. I got to get this. So this was another book. And the funny thing is, this book is written by Steve Sampson, who's got the book Hearing God's Voice, which was the book that the night that I finished that book was when I heard I heard Things God Hates at 2:22. I went back to sleep, and then he woke me up at 3:33, and he said, God permeates the Christian. So I don't know which book I'm going to read next, but this Confronting Jezebel, Discerning and Defeating the Spirit of Control, this is in so many people. This spirit is in so many people that they don't want to submit to God when that's what it's all about. The obsession for some people to control everything and everyone is as old as the biblical account of Queen Jezebel. In this eye-opening classic, newly revised and updated, Steve Sampson shows how the Jezebel spirit, a demonic spirit of control, sows discord, confusion, rebellion, and this is the key, even passivity. You can protect yourself and break free from cycles of control and manipulation with clarity and authority. Samson exposes the signs of the Jezebel spirit, its strategies of destruction, and how you can bring it under the control of the Holy Spirit. This biblical and balanced guide is a definitive resource for anyone needing to confront and battle this insidious demonic activity. Now, the crazy thing is, God actually set me free because I had a controlling husband and I had a controlling mother. And when he set me free, yeah, it was very, very painful, but actually it was a gift. It was such a gift to be not having to be manipulated and controlled by people anymore. And I'm free. I'm free flying. Okay, let's see. Oh, and the thing I wanted to say too about this, it turned out that I realized, my dad is in room 316, which I thought of John 3:16, and also how 3:16-17 was my first rapture dream, my first bride dream. But it's also Revelation 3:16 about how the lukewarm are going to be vomited out. So I know a lot of us are just ready to go. Any day is a great day. I think you'll find the stuff that she had to say very interesting about Israel and that they're expecting their Messiah. I think they're expecting their Messiah by March 21st, I think is what she said, which would be the Tu B'Shavat, I believe. No. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The March 20th, 21st, the Tu B'Shavat. We know that Jesus is coming. We know he's coming. We're excited about his coming. Yeah. Will I have time to read any of these books? I don't know. Living Waters had a great, they always have great videos to me, but he had a great video talking to a guy. He had a great video of talking to a guy who is a mortician. Y'all. It was amazing, actually, to think you're a mortician and you're not concerned about what happens after you die. And then there was a young guy who actually kind of looked Jesus-like, short hair, but he kind of had he looked a little Jesus-like, and with the beard and the nose and stuff. Not that I've ever seen Jesus, but anyway. But the funny thing was, he was 33 years old, like Jesus was 33 when he died on the cross and rose from the dead. And this guy was like, I don't believe in the afterlife. And Ray is trying to explain it to him, and he just is not concerned. The cross is foolishness to the perishing. They aren't interested in God. They don't fear. They have no fear of, it's appointed to a man to die and then to face the judgment. They have no fear. They don't fear hell. And that's another thing I was thinking, maybe I should show my dad that video of the Marine who was, because my dad has a real respect. He was in the Air Force, so he has a real respect for the military. And that video where the Marine, what was his name? Something Weed. Weed was his last name. I can't think of his first name. But 7 years ago, he put up a video about his accidental hanging while they were goofing around, and how he went to hell and had a demon attack him. I think the demon was 12 or 13 feet tall. So maybe I will see if God makes an opening that I can show that to my dad. But anyway, I'm praying for y'all. I'm looking up. I'm waiting for the call, answering the call of Jesus in the clouds. We're looking forward to that blessed day where 1 Thessalonians 4, he is coming. Okay, God bless you. And I pray that you're able to be productive in your ministries too, and that God will give you opportunities and appointments to talk to people, because we don't want anybody being left behind. We don't want anyone going to hell. We don't know how many people in America will even be given a second chance. We don't know. We don't know. So in the meantime, let's try to get people saved. Let's try to get people saved. All right. Love you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.